All right, hello everyone, and welcome to a recap video. We are recapping the live stream for the Japanese side of Wotv that just finished not too long ago, and we're going to get through all the information that happened in about 2 hours worth of time in a much shorter amount of time because we are efficient and not getting sidetracked. So, just going to get it out of the way. First of all, I'm going to give a shout out to the live streamers this week because it was relatively painless. We got a good amount of information, and a matter of fact, something that I really appreciate is that everything that was announced in the live stream was pretty much like, yeah, it's for some stuff that's for the foreseeable future, but it was content that is going to be starting this week, and that is always exciting to me. So yeah, let's take a look at it because the antics were pretty skim this time. So first of all, we were leading into another story. This has been teased in like not too terribly long, so wasn't sure what this was exactly. It wasn't pretty sure. We were pretty sure going in it wasn't a PvP content. We got a brand new unit, and we got, of course, the tournament and some gifts. So in the future, that will probably all come to global, and that really is interesting. But I think a lot of people going into this live stream thought that another story might be a pretty small piece of content or anything like that, and it is, interestingly, going to be a multi-month content addition to the game, with a starting off with a brand new free character. But hopefully right here we are going to get into this video, and we're going to take a look here and just kind of show off what it is with its intro video and whatnot. The Warrior of the Crystals is basically, the much longer title is another story, Warrior of the Crystals. It is not a collaboration. It is not something from outside of Wotv. These are Wotv characters, and this is another piece of story content for Wotv. So let's take a look. Shoutouts to the music that actually sounds like Crystal Chronicles, by the way. A nice little intro video, not overly produced, but definitely not underproduced. So just scrolling a little bit back, we're just going to go over this once again. So this is starting on August 17th, and this will have monthly iterations to it. So there currently are announced that there will be 5 parts to this. So the first part will be coming this week to the JP side. Part 2 will be coming the following month. Part 3 will be coming the month after. Part 4 the month after that, and so on and so forth until finished. And I have to say that, first of all, early impressions, the music is pretty soft, pretty gentle. The story will be going over book 1 of Wotv. So basically everything to do in all of book 1, it's going to be focusing on like characters that are very popular, giving them a little bit of extended story and content to those characters. The first chapter will actually be looking at Dario and Venera, and not much else has been said about following ones. But if you look here, you can see Glassy, or sorry, not Dario, but well, kind of Dario, Venera and Tyrell. You can see Glassy, you can see Elsi, basically a lot of popular characters. Our new characters here, Lucio and Shuma, will be the characters that we will be following through this story with, and it's essentially external piece of content. And like I said, it will be starting off with a brand new character, as Lucio is going to be a free character for everyone. And the good news does not stop there when it comes to announcement of Lucio. Lucio will not only just be a free character, he will be a free character in the sense that he will require no awakening materials, no rainbow rocks, no awakening mats, possibly just EXP is all he is going to be requiring to be upgraded. So as you can see here, yeah, basically you go through the story. This is like extra story content. No idea really at this point how difficult this is going to be compared to regular story. It is permanent content. It is not time limited. So that is great news for anyone. I think that there will be, after the completion of this one, there will be another one is currently scheduled for next year. So this will be also content that will be continuing further. I would assume that since we are getting Lucio now, we will see Shuma, who is the green-haired girl, possibly in the second piece of content. Should be noted that there's a few other details. We'll get into talking about Lucio in a second here. But by completing part 1, not only will you get Lucio, you will be able to get Lucio up to level 99 without need of any shards. Sorry, no rainbow rocks, no awakening mats, and also no shards for the character either. You just complete the story and you can level and power up this character as you go about. What's also interesting is that Lucio will become stronger over time. You will not be able to get him into EX at the time of part 1, but through part 2 through part 5, you will be able to upgrade him and make him stronger. He should be noted that he is, at this time, also not in possession of a limit burst, but I'm guessing by completion of part 5, he will probably gain access to a limit burst. Basically, like, it's a character that as you go through this story, you will be getting stronger and stronger, and since it is basically like, or since it is really easy for anyone to access this content, new players or old players, this will be a great way to welcome new players and get them into the game, get them with a strong character and whatnot. So yeah, I think that this is excellent content. I've definitely been waiting for this, and if we can just fast forward, we'll talk about the next part. So here you can see kind of the way the story goes about. A little more skip based. I wouldn't assume that this is as, high productions potentially as like main story content, but think of it kind of, I'm tending to think that this is going to be more like skits in the Tales game, but we'll see when it comes out this week. Also in part 5, there will be a strong boss that will be showing up, a mysterious boss. We don't know who this guy is, whether he is a brand new character, or maybe he's an old character, or maybe he's a version of a character we've never seen. The outline looks quite interesting, so I really like just the silhouette of this character so far. Hopefully going to be a really awesome and maybe a challenging or interesting fight. Here we go. So yeah, talking about Lucio here, he is a light-based slashing character. His primary job, if I remember correctly, is like Descendant of Warrior of Light, or like Warrior of Faint Light. You can see a little bit more into the design here. Looking on his back cape, it does kind of resemble a certain other flag in Wotv, but it also seems to be its own unique one. So Lucio is potentially from the future, maybe from the past. There's a lot to take into consideration about this character's design and everything, where he comes from and who he serves. But pretty darn interesting. As for Lucio himself, like I said, main job is going to be a brand new job. He is an 80 cost, but it was confirmed on Livestream he is not balanced towards an 80 cost unit. So you should expect him to be stronger. He's not going to become like a level, like a 140 cost in terms of power, but he is definitely going to be a strong character and one to keep your eyes on. Sub-jobs, I do believe, were Paladin, if I remember correctly. Let me just scroll through here. and monk, so he is going to be a very physical based unit, and going to have a little bit more strength, might be a little bit in more of a kind of physical tanky brawler bruiser unit, which is very interesting. Also to be noted that he does come with a TMR, and the only way to describe his TMR is essentially it is going to be a version of Bell's. Yeah, I'm not joking about that. He is actually going to be have a easily accessible, equipable by any unit in the game, TMR that gives AP generation. Given that Frostbite is a thing, I don't think that this is going to be a problem or too scary, and I think it's just a good way to get players into the game with a character they can immediately use, immediately level without having to need a ton of resources. And it's going to be nice for long-term players. I really like his design and everything. I love the red and white. Go Canada! And my voice is starting to fail. But I think that this is going to be an absolutely awesome great get for everybody in the game, and a pretty equalizing force. Taking a look at some of his early abilities that we do know about, first of all, the ability on the left is an AoE straight ahead of him, and it is essentially a jamming thrust, an upgraded jamming thrust that has the ability to cancel ability activation, as well as dealing a good amount of damage. And interestingly, the really interesting thing about this is the ability has a thing that we'll get into in a second here to switch damage type. So we'll talk about that in a second. Also, taking a look at his ability on the right will change as well. If I do believe that this looking at the wrong one. I think that this ability on the right seems to be like a kind of more power-up self-buff ability that gives him a increased amount of chance of critical and everything. So I think that this character will be kind of Noctis-like in terms of how much damage he can potentially take and how much damage he can dish out. So I'm very interested to see in this unit. But continuing on to speak about the other ability that we were talking earlier, and some of his abilities will change as you go through the story. You will get access to different passives and whatnot. Depending on which passives you equip to this character will change his damage types and what type of abilities they are. So some will become more defensive, some will become more offensive, switching between striking, piercing, and slashing damage types as well. So going to be very interested to see how this character progresses and what it will mean for the future of Wotv characters. Whether this will become a more regular thing to see characters with different damage types and different kind of switching of how their damage types. An experimental character, but as a free one with a free TMR that will become more powerful over time that everyone has access to. Yes, frickin' please, more of this in the future, especially if it introduces new weird characters that have different designs and everything. Let's go. I'm very excited for all of this content because it is something I have been wanting for a long time. Great. All right, and yeah, we saw a little bit there, but we have one new unit coming to the JP side as well this week that is not free. Here she is. Let's give it up for this girl. So Summer Elsi, yes, she is coming to the game. So yeah, Summer Elsi is confirmed. Basically, we kind of knew this before we got into the live stream even. There had been a lot of hints ahead of time that this was what we were going to see. I readjust the sound on the fly here. So first of all, she is a water-based character. Her primary job is Scholar. Secondary and tertiary jobs are Paladin and Kotodama. So immediately you should get a very clear idea of exactly what this unit is. Incredibly good against other physical units and a magical damage healer. Taking a look at it, I can see you pretty much, I mean, you are going to have options into how you build this character, whether you go for Paladin, for having some buffs that make her more tanky, or going for Kodadama / Messenger, which will give her more offensive capabilities. But Scholar is a very already powerful magic class that has access to healing as well as physical defensive options. So already I am expecting that Elsi here is going to be a really good unit against other physical units, but also a really good unit against fire units. She is just looking to be a very, 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 very tanky unit that can dish out damage. And if you think about water as an element, it has good magic vision cards. It has really good water magic vision cards. So you combine her with Aerith, which potentially gives her healing. You combine her with Moor, which is way more damage in terms of like just how much you can potentially get out. There's a really now a incredibly strong water team, especially if you think of this girl as more of a tank unit. I think that it works. Immediately we get details about her Limit Burst Water Cyclone, which is a great name. As you can see, it is a large AoE ability, but not only that, not only is it dealing large damage, it is also a sure hit Limit Burst that reduces AP on the enemies that are caught in it. So this is a very dangerous Limit Burst for other enemies. By how much AP we'll see, probably will be sure around 20, but if it's dealing massive damage, it's chaining potentially or synergizing with other water elemental characters and vision cards, and it's a sure hit ability. I just think this is incredibly strong. I don't think that there's really too much discussion to be had about this character. I think that she is just really strong. And then we get into a look about her EX abilities, as you can see here, which we're going to pause. Taking a look on the right, her large Scholar one gets a upgrade, dealing more damage, or becoming a strong option for healing as it already was, but just becomes better from this. One of her abilities that she uses to gain power will also be giving her more spirit penetration, if I'm correct, as well as shorten ability activation time, which makes Scholar even stronger. And last but not least, her brand new job level 25 ability, which I am giving a sure hearty recommendation, not only gives her Protect, making her better against physical units, but also a physical barrier that is good for 3 uses against other enemies. So in other words, not only is she strong defensively already because she has access to Paladin and Scholar, but she also has access to a barrier and a Protect effect on a single ability. Okay, so yeah, Elsi, taking a look at her job, she is going to have access to sure hit abilities. She's going to have access to self-healing. She's going to have potentially access to guts, extra damage abilities, and everything that Scholar, essentially a character like Rule, already had. We already know is really good. I think that there's enough globalism. That Summer Elsi, I'm going to give a big recommendation. As a matter of fact, I'm giving a big recommendation to everything that we've shown off so far. There's nothing to dislike about Lucio. Lucio looks great. He looks like he's going to be a great free unit for everybody with a cool design, a great TMR, and the only question is how powerful he will become over the next 5 months. As for Summer Elsi, I can see an incredibly great team with her. I could see you sticking her with Oberyn and Noctis to really protect her against lightning-based units. And then she is incredibly good against other fire units. But hey, guess what? Characters like Oberyn and Noctis are already tanky enough to be able to deal with some of the stuff that fire units can put out. So I think that, if you're looking for a unit that is just really impressive looking, I think Summer Elsi is definitely that. I think that she looks incredible. And yeah, there was also a few other stuff that we're going to go over very quickly on this live stream. So there were also some rewards going out, nothing too major or impressive, but rewards are rewards. And getting into the tournament this time, there was a mix of different dark and light-based team, a few with Aranea, a few with Noctis, I think, a pure ice team as well, which had 120 Velric. There's a 120 Velric that existed out there. So maybe I'll talk about that in another video, but this video has gone on quite long. So I'm just going to say, to summarize really quickly, I'm super hyped for another story. I'm super hyped for Summer Elsi. All of this looks great, and the only question is, how great will they both be this week? Great update, Wotv. Yeah, I don't say that too often. Really great live stream tonight because it was just content, and exciting content, and great looking new characters. So yeah, Summer Elsi. You know what? Let's just scroll back and watch her video one more. Her intro video one more. Because you know it's a big deal when the character gets an actual video. But yeah, only thing that needs to be said, I guess, because I'm just a little too positive right now. What do you guys think? Are you excited for Summer Elsi? Are you gonna be going for her? I think that she'll show up pretty quickly on Global, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But looks like an incredible addition for the water element, and that combined with some, you know, free to play, or yeah, free story content with free character. Gonna be a good week on JP this week. Let's see if Global can follow it up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.